Midnight Train to Georgia arrived into Gladys Knight's hands when Jim Weatherly's publisher passed the song along to the legendary R&B group. The band had just left Motown Records and signed a deal with Buddha Records. In 1973, the album Imagination was their first for their new venture, and Georgia was their second single. Gladys Knight told the Wall Street Journal back in 2013, "I wanted an Al Green thing going, you know, something moody with a little ride to it. I've always liked my tracks full with horns, keyboards, and other instruments to create texture and to spark something in me. While recording that single, I was thinking about my own situation," she said. "My husband at the time was a beautiful saxophonist and so gifted, but he was unhappy that we didn't have a more traditional marriage because I was often on the road or recording. Ultimately, it all proved too much for him, just like the song said, and we divorced later." Her 1998 biography, Between Each Line of Pain and Glory, Knight expressed how Midnight Train to Georgia was the first song in a long time that she felt belonged to them. Her fans must have agreed because it is still selling. He kept dreaming, oh, that someday he'd be a star. Oh, she truly dug deep for that emotional punch. Midnight Train to Georgia was not only a #1 hit on both Billboard Hot 100 and R&B, but also a top 10 in the UK singles chart. It garnered the group 1974 Grammy Award for Best R&B Vocal Performance and was also inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame in 1999. It is considered Gladys Knight's signature song. A little side story. The Pips, the backup singers for Gladys Knight, they were so entertaining to watch and hear. I wanted to share how they came to be as well. Initially composed of siblings and cousins, the group formed in Atlanta in 1952 at a family party. 8-year-old Gladys Knight had already won a nationally televised talent competition. Taking their name from their first manager, cousin James Pip Woods, the group began performing in local churches and in Atlanta clubs. By the time they signed with Motown Records in 1966, they had already scored hits on other labels and had polished their stagecraft, their vocal harmonies, and their dance routines. They had inspired a number of contemporary rhythm and blues acts already. They produced 24 top 40 hits between 1961 and 77, including I Heard It Through the Grapevine in 1967, If I Were Your Woman in 1970, and the million-selling single Midnight Train to Georgia and Best Thing That Ever Happened to Me from their million-selling 1973 album Imagination. Eventually, the Pips retired when Gladys Knight pursued a solo career. The group was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1996. Gladys Knight is my all-time favorite singer. My mother used to play her music blaring through the house when I was a child, and I remember roller skating to her songs. And I hoped to one day be a singer like her when I grew up. So in honor of the Queen of Soul, I hope you enjoy my version of Midnight Train to Georgia.
He's leaving on that midnight train to Georgia. Yeah, yeah. Said he's going